Okay, so this is not how I had expected this video to go. And yes, I am absolutely in my bathroom right now. It is a complete and total disaster because I have been trying to create go bags for the situation that is going on right now. I'm a total mess and I hope you'll forgive me because this is definitely not the type of video or the type of recording I had envisioned for this video, but I thought it was really important to also be real with you and to give you sort of the behind the scenes of what's going on in addition to like the sewing project. So the other day I finished up my skirt portion for my Alice outfit, and I had planned on working on the bodices and the peasant blouse, the chemise that is going to go with it, and basically start putting together a lot of the content and stuff that's going to be for YouTube and then Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff with my Alice outfit. And I had planned on doing that today. So if you haven't heard about what's going on here in LA, and by the time you see this video, I'm sure you will have heard about it in some capacity. And if not, I definitely recommend checking it out. We have the Palisades fire going on that started yesterday, and which was January 7th. And then I shouldn't say it sparked into, but there was several other fires going on around the area between yesterday and today, January 8th. And it's a little bit nutty. Like it's crazy. Right now, as I am recording this, we're at about 15,000 acres for the Palisades fire. There are a few fatalities. There's a number of people that have lost their homes. Like I can't even count everything, but most of Malibu is gone. Most of pretty much all the Palisades is gone. There are evacuation orders all around us, and where I am located, I'm like right on the edge of where the evacuation is happening. So we lost our power last night, probably around, I want to say 7:30 or so p.m. And I was still in the process of like putting together my projects and things like that, thinking that today I was going to finish everything up. And obviously that's not happening. So yeah, we are currently safe, but we are without power. We are continually to be without power, probably for a while, which in all things, in the grand scheme of things, being without power is not that bad compared to what so many other people are going through right now, and people who've lost their homes, or, we know several people who have already lost their homes in the Palisades fire. We know a lot of people, especially my kids, their friends who have been evacuated in the neighboring areas. And it's just, the reason I feel like I need to sort of post about this is we lived through the California Camp Fire in Paradise, California in November of 2018. And I was down here in Los Angeles. I just started a job and my kids were still up north when that happened. And they were still going to school at the time, and I was going through a divorce. Their dad and I were in the process of separating. And I was trying to kind of get my footing and get a house and kind of get where I needed to go, in order to start the process of moving the kids down. And we, for the most part, while things were pretty rocky, things, between their dad and I are actually pretty good. We've been friends for a number of years, and it was really honestly like for the best for the both of us and that kind of thing. So having said all that, we were in the process of sort of figuring everything out and how we were going to co-parent and do all of that. And the kids, were going through their own processes, and we were being there for them. And I had my littlest at the time, who was 2, and my older 2, which one was in first grade or for kindergarten at the time, and then the other one was in 3rd grade. So going through all of that, and then the fire broke out, and we lost everything. Like all of my stuff was still up there. The kids were still up there. They were actually at school when it happened. And I got a phone call from the school saying that I needed to come and pick the kids up, and I couldn't because I was, 8 hours south. I couldn't here in LA. And my ex-husband, their dad, he was working and he raced up, he got them. He had literally like minutes at most to get them and to get what he could out of the house. And I remember like messaging with him and like, what do I get? What do you need? And I'm like, I just get documents, like just get documents and pictures. That's it. Everything else like is replaceable. So he did that, and the animals wouldn't go. And so he needed to get out, and he needed to get out quick. And unfortunately, he had to make that really tough decision as to, what do? You got kids in the car, and you have animals in the house, and you have to run. Like, you see the flame, you have to run. And so he ran with the kids. And I remember being in LA, and I had just started my new job, and it was in an office setting, and I was, director, and it was like my first like really big important position. Like, I was the head of a department of a multi-million-dollar global corporation. And I was just really excited about this job. And I just started like the week prior. And I stepped away, and I was like, I have to deal with this. And I'm making phone calls to friends. I'm making phone calls to police departments. And I'm like, where is everything? What's going on? My kids got down to grandparents' house, and, I'm calling my mom, who was still up there, and trying to figure out, what can we all do? My boss was incredible at the time, and he's just like, take the time that you need, do what you got to do, and that kind of thing. So, I remember once I knew my kids were okay, and I was kind of over the shock of like, okay, they're okay, everything, that's important. Now what about the animals? And I was begging my ex-husband to, can you get back up the hill? Can you go back up? Can you go and just get them? Like, can you try again? And he did, and it was completely gridlocked. There was no way in. Firefighters were going like crazy. And there wasn't anything that we could do. And of course, by the time everything was said and done, the pets were lost. The home was a complete and total loss. And we had to start figuring out like what we were going to do. How on earth are we going to rebuild? What does this look like? And, long story, I guess it's already a long story, right? But as time went on, a few weeks went by and stuff like that, working with the insurance companies and things like that, we were able to get a large sum out of the loss and things, and we split the money. And so he was able to restart his life, and I was able to basically restart mine and rebuild down here. And my kids came down, and got them into some great school districts, of course, got them into counseling and things. And that was a long process. And I eventually did end up going back like the following year. Or actually I think it was in the spring. And I went up and saw the house, and, or at least the ground that the house used to stand on. And it just was, and it was no longer. And it's like that kind of feeling. I didn't want this video to be like this. Like, I definitely didn't start this video like, oh, this, I'm going to talk about all this stuff. And, seeing the devastation and the people around me. But thankfully, I'm one of those stories that I almost feel guilty. So I really haven't talked a lot about this, even to really close people in my life, because I really didn't feel like I had a right to. Like, I felt guilty for feeling, I guess, because here I am down here in LA, and I'm trying, I'm starting a new job, and I'm trying to create space and get a house and basically start from the ground up and as fast a way as possible, so that my kids have a place to go. Because the way things kind of worked out was my kids were going to stay with me for most of the year, and then they were going to go up and stay with their dad for a portion of the year. And it was, trying to figure all that out on top of, being in a new place. And then you throw in a fire, and as soon as that fire broke out up there, and it's slowly being contained, and my kids are coming down here to LA, then the Woolsey fire happens at the exact same time. And their school that I just enrolled them into is completely devastated. Like it's closed down as well. Thankfully, their school survived, but many of the neighboring areas didn't. And it was just insane. Like one fire to another fire. Living through that was one thing. And then it's like the following year, you know, the pandemic happens. And I feel like just with the way the world was, it just, on one hand, they are going to be probably the strongest people in the world when they're older and be like, yeah, we can handle this. We can handle just about anything, right? And on the same token, it's like, as a parent, you want to protect them. You want to be there. You want to, you know, shelter them from how devastating the world can be, but also talk about it and also make them, you know, aware of what can happen and how precious life is and how precious everything around us is. And I think that, like, living through that, and it was shortly after that I really started embracing more of life, I suppose, and my passions and things that really meant a lot to me, because I also want to show them, like, it's important to do that because it can be gone. Like, your chance can be gone like that, and it's just never going to come back. And if you don't take every opportunity and run with it and do something with it, you know, the greatest tragedy in life is wasted talent. You know, the greatest tragedy in life is wasted opportunity. And I don't want them to ever feel like they missed an opportunity or they wasted something. I want them to always wake up every day and be like, I did everything I could with this today that I possibly could, you know, if that makes any sense at all. But at this point, I feel like I'm rambling. And again, this is not what I was making an outfit, and I just felt like this was something that kind of needed to be sort of talked about, because I've never really have, I suppose. And maybe it's for me more than it's for you guys. It's as I'm saying all of this, like, I'm looking out over my horizon. I'm in my bathroom, by the way, because it's the only room right now that has decent lighting. It's like almost, you know, 4:30 or so in the afternoon, and I'm looking out over the horizon. It's just smoke and plumes of smoke and wind, lots and lots of wind. So I didn't really know what else to do today. And I feel like a lot of people had that sort of feeling, because I was like, I'm going to go to Joann's and I'm going to take my kids with me to Joann's. So that's exactly what I did. And we were going to go find some low-key, you know, low-tech art projects that can keep our minds and our hands busy for the day, because without internet, and there's no video games, there's no, I can't even check the news right now. Like, my internet where I am on this hill is so bad. There is like there's nothing right now. So I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you on my phone, right? So I went and I bought like a literal crap ton of yarn. And I have a couple of crocheting patterns that I think I'm going to try. And yes, for those of you that are curious, I learned to crochet when I was about 6 years old, and I'm not the best at it, but there's nothing else to do. I can't sew because sewing machine requires, you know, electricity. I suck at hand sewing, and like hell, I'm going to make a bodice that is completely hand sewn. Don't mind doing a bias tape by hand, but I'm not doing the entire thing. Like, I'm not stitching boning by hand. That's not happening. So I'm going to sit, and I think I'm going to keep my hands busy, because it's like, for my ADHD, it helps me kind of focus and gives me something to sort of do. And I have to read, you know, a pattern, and I have to figure out the pattern. And it's a brand new one I've never done before. So it's like a boho witchy sort of shawl. And I have a whole bunch of different colors. So I'm hoping I can make it like an ombre thing. But anyway, I figured I would just kind of give you the update that mid creating my Alice outfit, this is the thing that's going on. So if nothing else, I hope this is, and maybe I'll make this like a video, like its own video, so it's not like interrupting the whole Alice thing. I don't know. But just a reminder for everybody out there, please stay safe. Please embrace every single second of every single day. So that is it for today, my friends. I really apologize for sort of injecting a little bit of, I don't know, real life, I guess, in a weird way into this video. But I just wanted to take a moment and kind of, this is what's going on. This is me trying to make a project, and sometimes crazy stuff happens, and hopefully it doesn't happen all the time, even though it's California and we're either having earthquakes, on fire, or flooding. So take your pick, right? But I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna crochet, and I'm going to keep myself busy, and hopefully electricity comes back on so I can finish up everything. And as just a reminder to, use every opportunity that you have afforded to you, because you never know when it just might not be there. Give your loved ones a hug, tell them all the things that you want to tell them. And definitely, keep your pets close. Do all the things. Like I'm probably speaking to the choir here. Like I don't need to remind people of it, but I'm going to, because it's what helps me right now. So definitely stay positive, stay happy, stay healthy out there. And hopefully the next portion of this video is a little bit more fun rather than a storytelling session. So yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and go out there and be awesome. Embrace life, embrace your creativity, embrace everything. And I will hopefully talk to you on the flip side when I have electricity. As for a little bit of an update for where we are currently sitting at, we almost had to evacuate during the Kenneth fire. We saw the smoke coming up. We still didn't have electricity or anything like that, and we were freaking out. So this was on Thursday, and we were debating whether or not we wanted to leave and go someplace else, or if we wanted to try to stay put until an evacuation warning actually came in. We saw many people like around the area closer out into like the Oak Park area that was all being evacuated. And we were like, do we stay? Do we go? What do we do? And at the end of the day, we ended up opting to stay put because we do have 2 pets. And while the smoke was getting bad and we didn't have electricity and stuff, we didn't want to take up space from another family that potentially needed that room in order to either stay, or if they lost their home or in a far worse position than us. And it's hard enough when you're evacuating, let alone having the idea of being separated from your pets because the hotel isn't taking animals. And I definitely didn't want to take up one of those precious rooms so that a family with pets were able to stay together. So we ended up opting to stay put unless the call actually came in. And thankfully, we watched everything very closely. We had our go bags ready. We had like all of our documents, our all the important stuff, birth certificates, passports, legal documents, anything that we needed that or is really hard to obtain later on. We made sure that we had any old photos, anything like that. Having done this already sort of once before, you kind of like, it's a weird feeling of being prepared to do this all over again. And then also, oh my God, I don't want to go through this again. Like it's a very strange sort of like go mode that, at least for me, like that my brain was sort of in like the robotic tunnel vision, emotions off. What do I need? This is what I need. This is what my kids need. This is what the dogs need. We need to get this ready to go. And just like, that was it. So anyway, throughout the night, we watched the news, we watched the Watch Duty app. And by morning around 4:30 or so, our electricity came back on. They had the fire under control, thankfully, and I pretty much spent all day Friday cleaning up my refrigerator because all the food had gone bad. So had to clean all that out and use that as an opportunity to do a full scrub down. It also kept me busy, which was really nice. And as much as I hate doing household chores like that and cleaning, it was nice to have like that, like I have to do this, I need to get this done kind of thing. And it kept my brain, occupied and my hands occupied. So between that and laundry and dishes and all that kind of stuff, I just put on the TV with like movies and stuff for my kids. My oldest 2 were off, playing their video games and catching up with their friends on the phone and figuring out who was still evacuated, who wasn't, and all that sort of stuff. And we thought things were starting to feel like partially normal for a minute. And then around 3 p.m., my husband had called and said that he was on his way home because the Palisades fire was getting really bad and it was out, and they had issued evacuation warnings for West Hills. Now it's like all the way down into Encino, and it's kind of crazy. And my husband's office is in that direction. So he rushed home and started trying to figure out how to help his friends, how to help his colleagues. And we were just sort of like, what do we do? How do we help? So I had made a video to try and help gather some donations and things for some of the local organizations out there, like the World Central Kitchen, which is a fabulous organization out there helping to get food and hot meals on the front lines during crisis. There is the Best Friends Animal Society in LA right now that is working their tails off to try and, like, literally their tails, right? To try and rehome animals, to airlift them to help and to get them medical attention. There are over 500 animals that they've taken in. Pasadena has taken in countless animals, and so many of them are burn victims. So many of them need so much medical attention. So at this point, like, if you are looking to help or anything like that, I'm going to use every platform I can. Please, the animals need help so very badly right now. And people, families, like everybody. I think I talk so much about the animals because I feel like so often they get kind of forgotten, and they're not counted in the, like, loss or, the lives lost or anything like that. And it's hard to say, like, how many of them have either been lost and or have been burned or are victims themselves. There's not a whole lot of medical, and unless you had medical insurance prior for your pet, which isn't always the greatest medical insurance, but it's, better than nothing. So many of these medical bills are going to rack up into the thousands upon thousands to get aid and help for these animals, not to mention just the heartbreak that comes to a family when you lose a pet in a fire. It's hard, speaking from experience. And down below, even because for me, like, I've never really put together like a memorial or an in memoriam sort of thing for my pets and for our family's pets that we lost. And so I did that down below just to sort of help put, a face to some of the things that happen in these tragedies, or faces, the furry faces, the lovable furry faces that are no longer. And it's really hard. So as you can probably tell, it's a lot of feelings, a lot of up and down. I've sat here today trying to work and, get back to some sort of normalcy. And I hear the airplanes and the helicopters just going back and forth all day. And it's that constant sort of reminder that there is so much going on. Trying not to doom scroll, trying not to watch everything so carefully. And it's so hard. I have really, like, no words for all of it. But anyway, to sort of wrap this up, because I know this video is pretty long and I rambled already once before a couple days ago, and obviously you've probably seen it. So I definitely recommend, if you're looking to help in any which way, shape, or form, please consider donating to these organizations. The Red Cross is a great one. The ASPCA are phenomenal. If you want to just donate in general rather than just donate, for this incident, but there's so many different tragedies going on around the world. One other thing that I want to also sort of reiterate to a lot of people, because being on places like Threads or X or any of the social media apps for that matter, there are so many people that it's mind-boggling to me that there are so many people that have spoken out to me that said, well, you got what you paid for, you got what you voted for. Karma's a, BZ, obviously using the other word. And I'm just like, wow, the children that have lost their homes didn't vote, and I don't know what kind of karma they could have, put upon themselves for this to happen. The animals certainly didn't deserve any of it. No adult, no family, no human deserves to watch everything that they've built crumble down. And other people saying, well, LA is so rich. Well, we're really not. I know the media puts out a lot of the glitz and the glamour, and people hear LA like it's all just one big show. And the fact of the matter is, people that are here, the people in the industry, like the the movie industry and stuff like that, they only account for about 30%. And that's not even like 30% of people making it in the movie industry. That's just people like getting basic gigs and still working a 9-to-5 job on, the rest of the time, or trying to make ends meet, or working multiple jobs, to try to put food on the table. And their hobby might just be being an extra in a movie somewhere. It's not glitz and glam. It's hard working people. It's the waitresses, it's the migrant workers, it's people out there waiting tables, building sets. It is people out there working at the grocery store, working Uber jobs and Lyft jobs and being bellhops. And, it's all of the other stuff that people don't realize make up the majority of LA. And many of them are working, to just afford a room with 10 other people or 4 other people or part of a family. Many people have to have multiple people working in a family in order to make it and to afford a home. Quite frankly, if it hadn't been for the fire up north that we lost everything in, and thankfully the insurance money that came out of that, I wouldn't have been able to put a down payment on a house down here. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't, unfortunately, like saying it that way, but we wouldn't be in a position that we are right now if we hadn't already lost so much. And it's really frustrating to hear so many people say, like, we deserve this. No human deserves that. No one. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. And trust me, there's plenty of people out there that I sincerely dislike on 100 different levels. I would never wish this on anybody. So I really hope that if you're one of those people that are looking at LA and feeling like that, please take a step back and remember that it's so much more than a small majority of the population. Right now, this is really equalizing on so many fronts. Fire takes from everybody. It isn't just the small, 9-to-5 minimum wage job person. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care how much money you make. It doesn't care who you voted for. A fire is going to take everything around you, and in a blink of an eye. So hearing stuff like that, like it really frustrates me. It's another reason that I can't keep doom scrolling, because it's just staggering to see and to be told that, this is what we deserve. No one deserves it. So it's also very humbling to see so many of the organizations around here that have asked for help, and the donations have poured in so fast that they've actually had to say, don't donate anymore because we have so much. The community that has come together in this area across the nation, seeing firefighters coming in from South Africa, from Mexico, from Canada, everybody coming in to try to help the situation. It makes those jerks that are out there saying we deserve this seem much smaller, and definitely gives me a lot more hope for humanity still, that there are good people out there, that there are people that care, that understand. This is still people. These are still children. These are still families. They're elderly that need their medication that left it behind in the rush to get out, and they have to start going through the process of proving who they are to try to get new things, ordered for themselves. They have to go, families that need things like formula for their babies, dogs that need food. There's just so much. In essence, I feel like sometimes my heart is so big and wants to just hug and hold everybody and make it better. And these situations show that you can't, but then you look at communities like the ones that are coming together right now, and they're doing exactly that. They are exemplifying the feelings that I have for this community. So I guess that's really the update. I am so proud of the people that have come to the aid of Los Angeles right now when we need it the absolute most. I am so proud of the firefighters, the emergency response people, the National Guard, everybody that is coming together right now to help this community. I thank you all so much if you have donated, if you have even just shared out the information so that other people can donate. Every little bit helps, and even just putting out some positivity into the universe, some healing vibes, reaching out if you happen to know somebody that is down in Los Angeles or down in this area, or who has lived through this. I guarantee you that a lot of people that have lived through other fires or have lost fires and they're watching what's going on in LA, they're having some feelings. It would shock me if people weren't having those feelings. And reach out to them, ask them how they are. You know, just saying that, hey, I was thinking about you. If you need anything, let me know. I'm here to talk. I'm here to be an ear. Just knowing that people are out there for them is a huge, huge, huge thing, far bigger than you could ever imagine. So please keep your loved ones close, give them a hug, hold them tight, tell them all the things that you want to tell them. And again, if you have the ability, please donate to one of the organizations. All the information is linked on this page. If you can't donate, please send the links out to those around you. Continue to keep this area and keep others in your thoughts and prayers. And yeah, hopefully things can get back to normal pretty soon. I am trying my best to breathe and to put my mind in a better space so that I can try and get back to doing what I was doing when all of this started, which was making an Alice outfit of all things. And I promise you this, when I'm making this outfit and it's done later, I'm going to look at it and I'm definitely, there's going to be some vibes attached to it of what was going on when that was made. And I'm going to do my best to try and keep it in a positive light rather than having sort of this air, because right now there's definitely an energy in the air of just, I don't know, numbness, despair, tragedy, gratitude, hopefulness, just so much. Just, it's a lot. So thank you so much. I hope everybody stays happy, stays healthy, and please, 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 please share the information out to those you can, and I will hopefully catch you guys on the flip side.